As a Muslim growing up in New Zealand, I've faced racism, yes, I've faced bigotry and xenophobia, but not at any point in time that I think my life would be on the line. I still have no idea how to put all of this into context. I'm definitely still in shock, and all of this is happening very quickly. I woke up this morning to dozens of messages from people asking if my family was okay. And when I found out what had happened, that dozens of people were killed by a gunman in a mosque in New Zealand, honestly, it didn't sound like it was real. I am a New Zealander, and I have been living there since I was 8 years old. New Zealand is one of the safest, most welcoming countries in the world, and that's something that I've always felt. And so for something like this to happen at this scale, with this ferocity, I don't know what to say. All of our friends and family right now are scrambling to try and find out who was in that mosque when it was attacked. All of us are trying to figure out if we know someone in that mosque. And New Zealand is a small place, and the Muslim community in New Zealand is even smaller. And so chances are, I'm going to recognize one of the names that comes out. This is the kind of thing that you'd never expect to happen in a place like New Zealand. Not because there isn't racism and xenophobia and Islamophobia in New Zealand, of course there is. We felt it ever since 9/11. Growing up as foreigners, I've seen it happen. I've seen people yell racial slurs at some of my family members, at friends. I've heard stories about people being attacked on buses, especially if you wear the hijab and you're out in public, you're a target. We've had our mosques attacked before in the aftermath of 9/11, but never like this. This is the kind of attack that is new. It's never happened before in the history of our country. 49 people at least have been killed. This is what we know so far, and the number keeps climbing, and we're all trying to figure out what happened and why. And the why, I think, is going to be the most important question in the coming days. Because this kind of thing doesn't happen in a vacuum. And we'd be fooling ourselves to think this is just about one individual, one crazy person, one lone gunman, and it isn't. This comes out of an environment of hatred, of bigotry, of Islamophobia that has been fueled and fed for years and years and years. And this is what we see happen as a result of it. And these are whose lives are affected, ordinary people, ordinary Muslims, worshipping, not harming anybody. And we have to ask ourselves why this has happened and what role all of us have played in it. And most importantly, how we're going to change it. Because Islamophobia exists. Hatred and xenophobia exists. And yes, white supremacy exists. And it's a problem. We've seen the rise of far-right groups across the world. We've seen politicians using the language of white supremacy, of racism, of anti-Muslim hysteria to further their own gains and to galvanize the support of people around them. And this is what happens as a result. As a Muslim growing up in New Zealand, I've faced racism, yes, I've faced bigotry and xenophobia, but not at any point in time that I think my life would be on the line. And this is the same for all these people that we're worshiping in that mosque today. All of us now have to ask ourselves, how did this happen? And what are we going to do to make sure that it never, ever happens again?